Oh, hey. Welcome. Welcome back to the channel. Look, here's the deal. I've been thinking a lot about something that Christopher Nolan said in a recent interview, and I wanted to discuss it. I mean, like, what is the perfect movie? The interview I mentioned is with Stephen Colbert over there on the late night show that he does. I don't know what it's called. Is it Late Night with Stephen Colbert? Colbert? Is that what it's called? Anyway, so yeah, Christopher Nolan was on there and basically discussing Oppenheimer, and I mean they went into Tenet. It's actually a really good interview, and I left it down in the description if you would like to see that. It's actually pretty interesting. But one of the things that Nolan said was, I feel like where people have experienced frustrations with my narratives in the past is sometimes I think they're slightly missing the point. It's not a puzzle to be unpacked, but an experience to be had, preferably in a movie theater, but also at home. It got me thinking about rating movies, like people that, like for example, Roger Ebert did the 4-star scale. I mean, of course, they did the thumbs up, thumbs down on Siskel and Ebert, but I'm talking about when he wrote a review, he would give it a star rating. 4 stars was perfect. Perfect movie. And I figured anything over 3 stars was something that he would recommend. He's like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's good. And then anything below that, is not worth your time or not worth his time, depending on the movie. And then of course there's a 10-star or a 10-point scale where there's decimal points and 9.7s and 8.6s. And anything, at least in my opinion, anything above a 7.0 would be, worth watching. I mean, think of it like grades, right? Anything below 70 is failing, right? But look, it's a weird thing because to me it's like 4-star movies aren't all equal, right? I'll give you an example. Okay, these are two of I would consider to be perfect movies. Like I don't think there's anything that I would change about either one of these movies. And I think that they're perfectly like representative of what a 4-star movie is. And strangely enough, they both came out the same year in 1994, and they both got beat by Forrest Gump in the Academy Awards. But I'm talking about Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption. Now, these two movies are awesome. They're great movies, right? And I think anyone that said that either one of these movies was their favorite movie, I couldn't argue. I couldn't argue with them. But here's the thing. I definitely have watched Pulp Fiction more than I've watched Shawshank. Now, does that mean that there's a difference in the quality? Does that mean Pulp Fiction is better? I don't think so. I think it's just it's dependent upon mood. It's dependent upon what the movie is setting out to do. And I don't know. It's one of those weird things that I think people have a hard time with. Here's what I'm talking about. Even with a 10-point scale, right? There are going to be people that, well, they just don't know how to grade. Like, I don't understand how these people are grading it. For an example, let's use the recent movie, The Creator. Now, this is just an example, and I'm using IMDb because it's got a good breakdown of how people rank these movies. In no way am I saying that IMDb is indicative of quality at all. I'm just saying this is an example, right? So it's got a 6.8 out of 10, The Creator, right? Not bad, not terrible, not great, but it's pretty close to how I feel most people thought about this movie. But look at how things were rated. Look at this. 9,100 people, 6.6% of the voters said that this was a 10 out of 10. A perfect movie. That's what 10 means on a 10-star scale. That means that there's nothing wrong with it. There's no problems. It's perfect. I don't agree with that. I love The Creator. I don't agree that it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Look at that. A 1. A 1. 1.7%. 2,300 people gave it a 1, which means it's the worst movie possible. Like, it has no redeeming qualities. There's nothing of value. This is an absolute piece of trash. Not even edited correctly. No, the acting was terrible. You're telling me everything was bad about this movie? I don't think so. I mean, most people, look at that. Most people said it was a 7, which is about how I would rate it, a 3 out of 4. I think if you're a fan of sci-fi, yeah, check out The Creator. I think it's worthy. But this is just a great example of how people don't even know what quality means when it comes to movies. I'll give you another example. Dune. I love this movie, right? This came out a couple years ago. I got to see it in the theater yesterday because yeah, they're going to release the sequel in a couple of weeks. But I'm sitting there watching it for the first time in a theater and going, man, this is awesome. This is really great. And I look over at my wife. It's her first time seeing it, and I can tell she's not enjoying it. She's not enjoying it on the same level that I am. And it's just because, like, for me, I'm being enveloped by the screen and the sound and the music and the effects are just amazing. I love this movie. I love it. But she wasn't having the same experience as I was, even though we're watching the exact same thing. Now, is that a perfect movie in my mind? No, I don't think so. I think it's a little slow. It's a little slow. But like every time that I felt like, oh man, this is yeah, it's not advancing as much as or as quickly as I would like. I'm sitting there and I'm being enveloped by this visual beauty and the sound and everything, and I'm fine with it. I love it. I'll watch it again many, many times, I'm sure. But for her, she just said, no, it's not entertaining because of that. It's just so slow. So yeah, I mean, yeah, even sitting right next to someone, you're not going to have the same experience, and you want different things out of a movie. So how do you rate a movie? Like, do you rate a movie only for yourself? If that's the case, then sure. I'm sure that there's somebody out there that thinks that The Creator or Dune is the best movie they've ever seen. But as far as I'm concerned, if you think that these movies are the best thing you've ever seen, you need to watch more movies. If you think it's the worst thing you've ever seen, you definitely need to watch more movies because, yeah, it's not the worst thing you've ever seen, for sure. But going back to what Nolan was saying, it's really about an experience. It's really about having this story being told to you, however it's being told, in a way that's pleasing to you. So if that's the case, then it's all subjective. It really is. And all you can say is, look, I like this. I really like this movie. Or I love this movie. I think this movie's amazing and it's intense and it's fascinating or whatever, right? But then if you don't like it, that's what you have to say. I don't like it. It's not for me. It's not like this thing where it's objectively the worst thing I've ever seen. Okay, well that may be true. It may be the worst thing you've ever seen, but it's not the worst thing ever. And objective, it just never comes into it, right? It's all subjective. This is art. It's all subjective. I'll give you a couple of other examples, okay? Movies that, at least from my perspective, are some of the best movies made in the last 20 years, okay? First up, Inception. I love this movie. I love Christopher Nolan. I really do. I love him as a filmmaker and I like his stylistic choices. I think this is a great movie. Everything comes together for me. The music, the effects, the acting, everything, the story, everything's great. I love it. But some people say, it leaves me cold. Like it doesn't, I don't feel anything for the characters. It's just a thing that happens. But then for me, there's Zodiac. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. I mean, seriously, I've seen this movie so many times. It's kind of ridiculous. I love it. I love the acting. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's shot, the way it's edited. Everything about this movie is great. A lot of people say, it's too long. It's boring. Oh, there's not enough of this. There's not enough. Everybody disagrees. So that's the thing. What I'm trying to tell you is that just because it's a perfect movie to you doesn't mean it's going to be perfect for everybody else. You can try to describe to people what you like about these movies, but look, we're all different. We're all different. And I think that that's something that we have to keep in mind. And then also on top of that, when we're talking about movies, we have to be able to describe what we like about them. The way that I look at it is that every movie is like a three-legged table, right? A tripod, you could say. And one leg is the characters. One leg is the story. And then one leg is everything else, the technical stuff, the music, the sound, the way it's edited, all those things. If any one of those legs is short, that thing doesn't stand up, right? It just falls right over. So for me, that's the way that I look at it. As long as those three things work, it works. The movie works. And a movie can be successful, but not be for me. And that's something that I try to look at as well. There's probably not a whole lot of people that have watched this far into the video. If you have, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I would love to hear what your criteria for a movie, a good movie, what makes a perfect movie for you, and also what are your favorite movies? What are those movies that just blow you away and you love them and you can watch them over and over? I'd love to hear about it. But tell me why. because I think that's important too. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. But yeah, this really just got me thinking about what is a movie supposed to be? What is a movie? What is a movie? Like, what is it?